There's some good news and bad news with regards to this Tigers weekend series in Tampa Bay. The bad news, obviously, is that the Tigers did drop 2 out of 3 this weekend to the Rays, which is not the end of the world for me personally. I know there were a lot of people that were apparently freaking out over the series loss. I was not one of those people. If I'm being completely honest with you, I am not shocked that the Tigers lost this series. I mean, first of all, the Rays are the hottest team in baseball, so there's that. As good as we are, we did run into, again, the hottest team, literally the hottest team in all of Major League Baseball this weekend. So there is that. Also, we were playing them in their place. Well, their place. It's not their place, but you know what I mean, okay? We were playing on the road against the hottest team in baseball. We were getting just absolutely hammered by that hot Florida sun and that hot Florida heat. Now, listen, it's hot everywhere. It's hot right now currently in Michigan. But that Florida sun, that Florida heat is something different, man, okay? We were playing in the Florida heat as well. And here's another thing. I mean, the Tigers didn't get to Tampa Bay for this series until, like, what did Jason Benetti say? Like 3 o'clock in the morning on Friday? I mean, they did not get there until extremely late. I was at the Thursday night game, by the way, game 2 of that doubleheader against the Pirates. I didn't get home until midnight, okay? That game went pretty late for a Thursday night, in which the Tigers had to travel to Tampa Bay afterwards, you know? It was late by the time I got home. It was late by the time the Tigers got to Tampa Bay. There's that. There was another rain delay on Friday, which made Friday night's game another late game. And then you had to turn around and play an early game on Saturday. Like, yeah, just so many factors I feel like were going against the Tigers in this series against the Rays. So, like I said, it's not the end of the world for me for the Tigers to drop 2 out of 3 this weekend to the Rays. We dropped the series. That's bad news. But the good news is that we are ending the series and coming back home with the W. Throw up the W's, ladies and gentlemen. Tigers win to close out this series in Tampa Bay over the Rays. Let's talk about it. But first of all, I do some housekeeping notes I need to take care of. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video. They got hot coffee. Oh, I do not need any hot coffee right now in this hot summer heat right now. Instead, what could go really good is some nitro cold brew. Especially that nitro cold brew and some chocolate as well. Roastomer has some great drinks and treats for you to try and enjoy. Visit our website, roastomer.com. Link is in the description below. And if you find something that you want to try and make an order, you can always save some money on that order by using my code, TonyD. Shout out to Roastomer. Thank you once again to them for sponsoring this video. And also, if you gotta do me a favor, leave a like on this one. Comment your thoughts on this Tigers win down in the comments below. Share with all your family and friends. And please hit that subscribe button as we're on the road to 2,000 subscribers. I very much appreciate it. Alright, that takes care of my housekeeping. Let's now talk about this Tigers win to close out this series in Tampa Bay. I am sweating, by the way. I am sweating. Doing all this talking, especially in front of this beaming light. Woo! So excuse me if I look a little disgusting and downright hot right now, because I am. Okay, so ignore the fact that I'm kind of sweating right now, but nonetheless, yeah, anyway, like I said, good way for the Tigers to end this series in Tampa Bay, and just a good win overall. You know, any win is a good win, obviously, but the Tigers really need this one. You know, obviously they came into this game on a 3-game losing streak, and, you know, to get the win to close this series and go into the off day on Monday and our next series starting on Tuesday at home against the A's with a little bit of momentum, and especially again because you're facing the hottest team in baseball in their place, you know? Yeah, the Tigers really need the win today, and they got it. Good stuff. Before I talk about the Tigers' offense, I actually want to give some love to the Tigers' bullpen for this win, and specifically Tyler Holton. Tyler Holton is my Tigers pitcher of the game today, and the reason for that is because he had to come into this game in a bit of an unexpected circumstance. A tough situation for him to enter into this one. You know, obviously Casey had to leave this game in the top of the 6th inning dealing with some cramping, which, by the way, on that note, that is definitely good news that it's just cramping and not anything actually, like, not actually an injury with Casey Mize. You know, the last thing we need is another starting pitching injury. So, yeah, the fact that Casey, you know, it's not good that he had to leave this game, but the fact that we got some good news there that it's just cramping, yeah, it could have been a lot worse, so it's good news that it is just cramping for Casey. But still, yeah, he had to leave this game at the top of the 6th inning. Tyler Holton had to enter without throwing any warm-up pitches in the bullpen. He came in there, again, unexpected, a tough situation. He threw a scoreless 6th inning. Absolutely huge. Shout out to Tyler Holton, again, my Tigers pitcher of the game, for really delivering in that big spot there. And other than Brand Herter, unfortunately, the rest of the Tigers bullpen threw up zeros as well. The Tigers pitching as a whole today, Casey Mize and the bullpen, Tyler Holton, the Viper Chase Lee, Tommy, the Changeup King, Kane Lee, Brand Herter, and Brendan Hanafy. 9 combined innings, just 3 earned runs with 7 strikeouts. All in all, a much better day pitching-wise from the Tigers than we saw in the rest of the series, you know. I feel like this series really, and this is something I've been kind of thinking about as a Tigers fan even before this series, but I think this series specifically really showcased that, you know, we still obviously have a lot of time to go until the trade deadline next month, but I think this series and a lot of past events, I will say, have really highlighted the Tigers' need for both starting pitching and bullpen pitching at the trade deadline. Everyone wants a bat. I want a bat too, don't get me wrong. But if you ask me right now as a Tigers fan on Sunday, June 22nd, what do I think is the bigger need? I kind of think it's pitching. I don't know. I kind of think it's pitching. Again, starting pitching and bullpen, I feel like you really need to address those two things before you add a bat. Don't get me wrong, if we add a bat at the deadline, am I going to be mad or anything? Of course not. I'm going to be so excited if we get a big bat at the deadline. But again, right now on June 22nd, after this series against the Rays and just even previous events and games and appearances out of the bullpen and whatnot, leading into this series, I kind of feel like starting pitching and bullpen is a bigger need for the Tigers at the trade deadline. So have a lot of time to go. We will see what happens between now and the trade deadline, obviously, but that's completely beside the point. Again, much more solid day from the Tigers pitching today. As for the Tigers offense in this win, you know, it actually wasn't a bad series from the Tigers offense. They had a big Friday night, and they had a big Sunday afternoon, obviously, too. A 9th spot in this victory, including a... Can I count? The heat's just getting into my head right now. Including a 6th spot. There we go, Tony. Good job. Including a 6th spot in the 9th inning, highlighted by that big Parker Meadows 3-run shot. Hopefully that kind of gets him going. Yeah, great job for the Tigers offense to really blow this game open in that 9th inning and put the exclamation point on this win. There are some good candidates for my Tigers position player of the game today. You could go with Wenzel Perez. He obviously homered in this one. 2 hits, including that homer with 3 RBIs. He's a good candidate. You could go Parker with that 3-run homer. But I don't know how you don't go with Riley Green for your Tigers position player of the game. I am going Riley Green with my Tigers position player of the game. He had a big Friday night with that 2-homer game in the loss. And then again today on Sunday, a 3-hit game for him, including 2 doubles, 2 runs scored. It's not just his offense. Defensively in this win today, too. What was it, like 3 or 4 catches that Riley made in left field? 3 or 4 awesome catches in left field, including the one where he nearly flipped over the wall in foul territory in left field. Riley Green's awesome, man. Riley Green is awesome. I don't know what to say other than that. Offensively, defensively, Riley Green is awesome. He is a star. Just like I said with Taro Skubal, in a previous video, how blessed we are as Tiger fans to be able to watch him every 5th day. It's the same thing for Riley Green, I feel like. Man, it is such a blessing, such a treat that we get to watch him, not just every 5th day, every day. Every day in the Old English D. Riley Green's awesome. Riley Green's a star. Shout out to him. What a weekend for him, despite the series loss. Yeah, man. Shout out Riley Green. Shout out Tigers. Good way. I've said it a million times already in this video. I'll say it again one more time right now as we close things out here. Good way to end this series in Tampa Bay. Despite losing this series, that's still a good way to end the weekend in Tampa Bay. Good way to go into the off day on Monday. And a good way to go into our next series back at home against the Sacramento A's. They're not the Oakland A's. Aren't they just the A's? I don't know. Whatever their names are. Just the A's. I'm just going to call them the A's because I actually legit don't know if they're actually the Sacramento A's or what their actual names are. beside the point. Good way to go into the off day on Monday. A good way to carry some momentum into our next series back at home against the A's. It's just a big week overall at Comerica Park. You got the 3-game series coming up against the A's, and then next weekend a massive series against the Minnesota Twins, including a matchup on Sunday Night Baseball. We got flexed into a Sunday night game. How cool is that? But yeah, before we talk about obviously that next weekend series against the Twins, we first got a 3-game series coming up against the A's. So, yeah, let's get a bounce-back series dub at home against the A's, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got from this one. Thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate it as always. As I mentioned earlier in the video, leave a like on this one. Comment your thoughts on this Tigers win down in the comments below. Share with all your family and friends, and please hit that subscribe button if you're on the road to 2K subs. I very much appreciate it. Stay warm, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, as always, go Tigers, baby.